What is up, Stephen Wright, man? What is going on? Woo! Woo! Stephen Wright! Dude, happy birthday. The big 5-0. Your wonderful, wonderful wife let me know that you're having your birthday soon. And so I wanted to especially reach out to you and I wish you happy birthday, but just continue to wish you well in life. And I hope our paths cross where we can, presentially face to face, meet together and hang out. That would be wonderful. I was trying to think of, some fun memories that we had. Of course, a lot of things come to mind. There was a time when I went out to A&M, and this is, I think you all had already started dating. Yeah, because we were up in Dallas. Your wonderful now wife, I think I want to say she was in Dallas. Maybe she was in another place. I don't know, Austin, or maybe it was right there. And but we went to her house or her parents' house and hung out and I got to know her some. And so that was cool, and just getting to see A&M and College Station, and here it is. I've been living there for several decades, right? So of course the international trip, but even before that, I'll get to that in a second. I just want to even think about in school. I mean, man, I remember just I have random thoughts. Like, I remember one time we were in somebody's apartment. We were junior C. Wasn't that? I don't think it was our fifth year where we lived together with Michael Wayne and Matthew Philpott. But one of the years before, I think, when we were not in woodwinds, but the other ones that were like 3 stories high. Anyhow, it was you and I and Bryce Norton, and there was some rock music going. And we didn't have anything to drink. We weren't crazy. We just started jamming out, just being stupid. And, it's funny because I ran into Bryce over this last year or two. He heads up a faith-based committee. He doesn't head up. He's a COO or CEO or COO of Haggai International. So that's really cool. And I've had lunch with him a couple times over the last year or two, because he was back and forth preaching. He was preaching here. Then he was running a nonprofit in Greenville for a while. Then he's back here in Atlanta. So anyhow, I didn't bring it up to him then. It just didn't come up. But I was like, there was a time where he was over by the long sliding glass doors that we'd have over there. And he's just jamming, and I don't know, some rock stuff. But I remember, and I was like, man, we just had we could have such good, clean fun. I remember when we were in Woodwinds together, and, you were doing your master's degree and just trying to, figure out what to do with life. It's like, things with med school or maybe not going your way, and you were looking at dental, and it's so cool to see like where you're at now, and you can tell your kids like, hey, you know what? God had a plan even in what I thought were failures at that point. He had his hand on me. He had his hand on, with my future wife, with my kids, generational blessings, all from, maybe the things that weren't working out in that moment. And here they are, have put you in a place where you can bless others, bless your wife, bless your kids, and just do what you're doing. So, but I remember hanging out, having a good time with crazy Michael Wayne and his huge, like 75, 85-pound dog. It was a beautiful dog, that golden retriever, but he would throw, I don't know if you remember, he would take a tennis ball from the living room and throw it down the hallway, just boom, 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 boom. And that the dog would go crazy, right? Just go buck wild. And it was probably when I was napping or waking up in the morning, because he had to get up early to teach. And then I would throw that ball in the room, and then the dog would jump on my bed, and he'd jump on my bed. Oh my gosh. I just remember being in Plyler Hall together, doing stuff. I remember just being out on campus, hanging out. So many great memories, man. You're one of my favorite people, even though I haven't seen you in, gosh, several decades now. You're one of my favorite people back then. I highly esteem you. I love you and care for you, and I got such big love for you, man. And my family does too. They remember you very, very well. But man, you know what? That Europe trip, wow. What was it, like 11 weeks, 7, 8, 9 countries? Starting off, because I was a day behind you all. I think I flew in by myself into Frankfurt. Y'all picked me up, and we went to that first night into the I don't know, Kaiserslautern or wherever it was, Gießen, where we stayed at. I don't know if it was your friend or Bear's friend that had a place there on base, and then we got up the next morning, and I think we went to Koblenz, and then we went north of Koblenz, I think up towards Wiesbaden, and then took the train, or was it the boat? We didn't take a boat. We took a train, I think, that went along the water, and I was still trying to get my bearings. I remember that. Then we did around Germany. We did Berlin. Then we went down to Prague, from south of Berlin to Prague. Wow. Prague was amazing. I remember we, right when we got off the train, because we still didn't have a place, there was some guys that were like, hey, we'll give you a spot. Just come in. It was cheap. And we're like, yeah. And we went, and we didn't know what the heck we were doing. I don't even think I knew 3 words. I used to try to at least learn some words or something, but I don't think I knew anything. And, gosh, I think, so we got some Czech beer. Remember? It was like Czech cola, right? So we got Czech beer and some like ramen, I think it was, or something or some deli thing. And Star Wars was on the TV with, in Czech, right? And so here we are with Czech beer, which was horrible. And watching Star Wars in Czech, that was funny. And I remember we went to across the Charles Bridge. We went to that really cool museum that had a mix of like art, things of their history of war, but it had all of this stuff of all the different animals and bugs and things from that region. I remember it was fascinating. It was actually one of the cooler places we went to. And then we went into Vienna, Salzburg, and Innsbruck. And do you remember we went to in Salzburg? Y'all did the Sound of Music tour, and I stayed and just hung out. I don't know why. Just for some reason I wasn't feeling it. I think I rode bikes in town, or scooters. I think it was or bikes. Yeah, I rode bikes in town. But that it had a pub. Remember that? And we met the girl from Brasilia and the guy from Mexico City. And we sat in that side room where everybody else was pumping it up. And that was probably the first time in my life I ever had a plethora of beverages. I think it was like 5 of those, about this size, larger of a drink. And we just talked philosophy and life and religion, girls, potential marriage. We were there for a couple hours having a great time. It was mainly the 3 of us and the Mexico City guy. And then we went into that room, and I remember jumping up on the tables and dancing and smooching some random girl who was, the next morning, and she wanted to go travel with us and stuff. And so remember we had our, and I remember Bear taking a picture of the whole situation too, that night, but, at least of me. But the next morning she tried to jump on the train with us. And I think it was Bear or you or I or something, because we had backpacks on the front and back, right? And we just blocked her, right? And, we're like, sorry. And, and the doors closed and we got away, and we saw in another city. She went to some all girls school in North Carolina. And then from there, we cut over to Switzerland, having a great time, and then Interlaken and Lauterburn, remember that? And then you all decided, hey, we're going to go down to somewhere in southern France. I think you or Bear knew somebody. And I was like, man, I'm having I want to be in these mountains. And right after y'all left, I remember as well, right after y'all left, I was still at the train station, and I saw that the weather was going to be really bad for the next 3 or so days. I'm like, well, crud, Here I stayed, and I just, back then we didn't have any way to plan really that much, right? So I was like, I was such a Francophile. I studied French in high school and college, and they said, hey, if you know, hit you can hit like 4 or 5 trains. It was like 2 or 1, I think, in the afternoon. It says, if you go back, it leaves at 2, and you'll have like 5 minutes or 3 minutes at every little stop, and you can get to Paris by like 9 tonight. And I was like, done. And I ran back, got all my stuff, backpack, ran and made it just in time. There was a girl that, she was really good friends with my best friend back then, who's still my best friend, Denise Kaiser. And, I crashed at her place because she was an au pair, over there, or she was doing a study abroad, one of those two. And that was my first time to see Paris and Eiffel Tower and the whole bit. I stayed there for the week, but, back then, we really didn't have ATMs and, phones and all that stuff, right? So it was 94 in the summer. Oh, by this time it's starting almost the fall, and I'd run out of money. So I went to the American Express, where I usually just, pull out money. I have to go to the bank, and they only had certain limits that you could pull out. Well, we didn't know that. So I got there and like, there's no more money for you to get. I had somehow was able to use my card to get, the reservation to take the, TGV, the fast train down to Antibes. Remember, Antibes, southern France, where you all were supposed to be, supposedly, but there's no way to check. I just had to hope that y'all were there. And I took, the 4.5 hour train or more. And actually to Antibes, it was like 5. Got there at like freaking midnight, but y'all were actually, y'all like Antibes-sur-Mer. You were like 3 miles down, like a little village off the town, if you will, right there on the water. So I walked with like 75 pounds of bags and stuff, just asking people in the middle of the night, 1, 2 a.m. that are on the street, where's the hostel? I got there like at 3 a.m. Just sweaty, just tired. And I'm talking outside to someone, I'm like, hey, is there a hostel by? And they said it was going to maybe be right here. And then I hear, and Bear's like, Jeremy, is that you? through the window. And I was like, oh, thank you, God. And I went in there in the dark and just slept for a few hours, because we had to get up pretty early to head over to pass through Monaco and, Ventimiglia, that first beach, that first place we come into Italy. And then, we went around, through some really great parts, right, in Italy, down to Rome and Florence, and then back up into France. We cut through over to Barcelona, Madrid, lots of good partying there. And then we went back up to France, and I think we split up again because you all went ahead to London, and I was meeting up with my cousin Tim, who was living in London, but we went over to Ireland for like a week, and then we met back in London for that last week. But wow, woo, what a trip. Just such a special time. The 3 of us, and, I'm so blessed to be able to keep up with Bear. I don't know if you do much or know that, he's down in Florida and got his pharmacy degree, but he does all the, not appraisals, but what do you call it? On homes. Well, I was trying to see if he can get into some pharmacy, and got his little daughter, Mabel, little cute little girl. I haven't got to see him the last year or two, but, we talk every couple months and text and things like that. So anyhow, that's some of the good memories. I remember you and I playing hoops a lot, and I just remember how good of a hustler you were, that you could pop the 3, but you like to go in there and bang and get in there. You were just a good overall athlete. I just remember you were a lot more focused and dedicated than I was. You were really good at just sticking to, getting your work done and putting priority to your studies. And that's, proven well for your success now, I'm sure. So anyhow, man, I just wanted to say happy birthday, happy 50. I really look forward to hoping to see you sometime soon. Maybe 2021 will be able to give us a chance to bring us together. I know that I've got some cousins in Austin. I went to Dallas a couple weekends ago to see my cousin Dan, who lived with me in Mexico between 97 and 2001. We were there off and on for about 2.5 years. And we want to go down to Austin. We just couldn't do it right now. So I'll make that, I'm going to try to make that a priority in 2021. And since I'm in freaking Austin, I mean, just 3 hours, right, or so, get down to College Station. It would be my distinct pleasure to meet your children. I guess they're now teens. Maybe one going into college, right? I think your daughter. And just see you all and just give you a big hug, man. You've been a special person in my life. I haven't ever forgot about you, buddy. And I look forward to reconnecting, okay? Have a blessed week. I love you. Happy birthday, and we'll see you soon.